And drive through Peekskill. How are the crowds looking?
Big crowd this year.
Yeah.
3 or 4 times more than last year. Of course, it's 5 degrees last year.
And you remember that because it was very cold on stage.
Very cold, and I was wearing a shirt.
Now, you're actually from Ireland, although I think you're losing your accent a little bit.
When?
Where? It'll come back to you.
Give me a little,
Mike?
no, I'm from Vermont. I'm
Good.
here 10 years.
And what do you like about St. Patrick's Day in the United States? Back here in the city of Peekskill to celebrate the 7th annual St. Patrick's Day Parade. It's Thursday, March 14th, and Vinny, we couldn't have asked for better weather. We pointed that out. There's a lot of activities that are going on tonight in the downtown and around the area. And what does it mean to you to be Italian on St. Patrick's Day?
Well, I'll tell you, whether you're Italian, I guess there's an old saying that on St. Patrick's Day, everybody's Irish, or a little bit of Irish. I have on a genuine Irish sweater that my mother-in-law brought back for me from a trip in Ireland about 10 years ago. And the most amazing thing is that it still fits me. Not the fact that it's still the color, but it still fits me, right, Denise? Go ahead, say it.
Well, I was going to say the vowel, on Paddy's Day, the vowel is always in the beginning of your name.
Ah, there you go.
If you're Italian.
So I'm Ovesti. There you go.
Well, I think that's why we added that O originally, actually. And you see a nice shot of the crowd here in the city of Peekskill. It's amazing, Vinny, every year that we've been hosting the parade. Within about 15 minutes before the parade actually comes through, everybody comes from every possible corner of the city of Peekskill to watch the marchers and the bands, and the elected officials go on by.
Yep, and they descend on downtown Peekskill like locusts, especially on a beautiful evening like we have tonight. The thing that's most amazing is that when we had marched in the past, and you know, when it was snowy or ice cold or whatever, there'd still be a terrific crowd. Well, tonight may end up rivaling the crowd that we had for the very first parade when we had very similar weather. It was about 60 degrees that night. It's probably in the mid-50s right now here in downtown Peekskill. So as you can see, there are a lot of kids in attendance up and down the streets of Peekskill, and we have a terrific crowd, terrific night, and looks like a terrific parade lined up.
Absolutely. We should probably point out, for those of you who are just tuning in, that Jack Carey is the Grand Marshal for this year's parade. Let me also list the aides to the Grand Marshal. We have Sister Raphael, Kate Cunningham, who works for Tara Circle, Larry Gomez, who is a former colleague of yours on the Common Council here in the city of Peekskill.
That's right.
You want to say anything about Larry while you have a chance?
I'm sure he feels Irish tonight, too. And I don't think Gomez is an Irish surname, is it?
No.
Okay.
We could check, though.
We'll have Denise run the checks on it, too.
George McAnaspey is also an aide to the Grand Marshal. Jack McAndrew.
Christine Meckett, Jack Murphy, and Phyllis Nitkin.
And we should point out that Phyllis Nitkin, unfortunately, is under the weather and actually can't march this year.
Oh, that's too bad.
So she's watching us from home, and Phyllis, we certainly wish you Atlanta, and actually flew up that day to be with us to celebrate the dinner.
There you go.
You can see the crowd is continuing to grow here in the city of Peekskill. You're watching live coverage on Continental Cablevision, and we certainly hope that you are able to watch the program again and again on cable. It will be repeated a number of times, so if you missed any of your friends or family as they march by, you'll be able to see it again.
Well, there's that crowd again. And Denise, you came through town a little bit earlier, or actually right while we were on the air, and you had mentioned that it looked like there was a pretty big crowd.
Big crowd. Last year I saw like maybe 3 or 4 blocks. This year's like 10 blocks.
Is that right?
Right from the police station down has been packed on every corner, so great turnout.
And it's also a larger parade contingent this year, too. We have 5 divisions plus the honorary division, which obviously is headed up by our local officials from the city of Peekskill, town of Cortland, and our state and county locally elected officials will be in front there, too. And all of these divisions actually have at least 5 or 6 different groups or marching bands in them, and there's a total of over 40 different groups this year, Vinny.
Yep, and there you can see some of Peekskill's youngest citizens, and you can see the glows on their faces. You know, there's nothing like a parade to get kids happy. So if you're still watching us and you're here in downtown Peekskill and you have some kids, you still have time to get downtown before the parade ends up winding its way through the city of Peekskill. It right now is just 6 o'clock, and the parade may be kicking off over near the Assumption Church, and we might want to say that this evening's festivities really began with a mass held at the Assumption Church at 4:30 this evening, and Father Ansbro, you saw earlier, as I guess it's Monsignor Ansbro right now, you saw earlier one of our past Grand Marshals. Did he say the mass, Father Monsignor Ansbro?
Yes, he did, but I wasn't at the mass. I didn't make it, no.
Oh, you came straight from work.
Yeah.
Well,
you work very hard, you know.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. maybe you want to talk about how your
Because I love
husband
Peekskill so
how your
well.
husband makes you go to work every day when you don't really need to, huh?
I think Lotto is a problem with that.
Go to the church and then go immediately over here to the parade route and continue the celebration.
Or they make a stop or two on the way.
Well, hopefully at a chamber member's business.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
As I was mentioning, going over the itinerary for tonight, the line of march is pretty extensive. And every year, Pipe Major Joe Brady leads the parade here in the city of Peekskill. And I don't think we realize his importance to the Irish community and what he does in terms of his performances and keeping the Irish heritage and culture alive.
He really does. And I will tell you that it seems like every function that's held in the city, whether it's an Irish-oriented function or not, you can count on Joe Brady being there if it's an important function in the city of Peekskill, lending to the festivities with his bagpipes. So.
And he made his debut in Carnegie Hall last Monday as well.
Oh, he did?
Yep.
Okay.
He did?
He did, yeah.
And who was there for that?
A lot of people.
Now, I think this is, I'm not quite sure what this is,
Well,
actually.
he's on his way to the parade route, I'm sure. Fantasy Acres from down in the town of Cortland.
Mm-hmm. And actually, they have a whole contingent of vehicles at the end of the parade.
He's working his way over to the end of the parade, so we'll probably see him again.
Actually, that's what they want. They want double
he was having his own parade. I don't know.
He's a social climber.
There you go.
Started the parade without everybody else. I guess he is actually going around the corner. That's probably the only way now to get to the parade route, because the city of Peekskill actually blocks off much of the downtown area, Vinny, in order to maintain traffic control and crowd control.
Right, well, the way the parade winds its way through Peekskill goes down South Division Street, I should say up South Division Street, to Main Street, makes a right on Main Street, heads east till it gets to James Street, then heads back south on James Street, makes another right-hand turn on Brown Street, and makes its way to the Paramount Theater.
Actually, while we have a minute before the parade gets here, we do need to thank the City of Peekskill DPW crew. They've been out actually all day, actually doing the green line on the street here and also the shamrocks that are painted. And that's the City of Peekskill truck there. Clyde Bell is on the truck, actually, and he's managing the camera person who is giving you the aerial shots. And we get
Who's Don Bennett, who drew the short straw, and Don's about 40 feet up in the air right now, so.
And we can throw things at him, he told us. But we also want to thank some individual people in addition at the City DPW, Jim Matafari, Dave Rinaldi. Again, unprecedented cooperation this year, Vinny, to help us get this whole thing together. Tim Fetzer was here earlier in the day getting everything set up. Mike Casario, Sam Mascolino, Dave DiGregorio, and our friend Bob Knapp from the City of Peekskill was out all day today as well. They do a great job every year to help us really pull this event off.
Well, they don't only do a great job for this committee, and you're quite correct in the job that they do to help get the parade going, but I can tell you as a former member of the City Council here for 12 years and mayor, the Peekskill Public Works Department, the guys in the Public Works Department and the ladies in the Public Works Department do a spectacular job for the citizens here of Peekskill.
And also Jamie Strumke, who was instrumental in last year's event and pulling that off for us here, also helped again this year, so we wanted to especially thank him. And he was up actually in the bucket truck earlier this week putting the green lights up along Division Street and also the banners you see around the downtown.
And of course there's that ever-present St. Patrick's Day green line down the middle of the streets of downtown Peekskill, and it looks terrific.
And actually they expanded it, and that's a green line too, so everybody can go. Actually the green line was extended this year too onto Division Street. And actually, Denise, maybe you can talk a little bit about the help that we get from the City of Peekskill Police Department.
I think I might be a little biased in that department.
Well, that's okay.
I think you're getting extra security now, especially down at Crystal Bay. Since I married one. But, no, I think there's going to be a big turnout this year. Last year was a little small contingent that showed up, but I think this year we're going to have a big one. Saw a lot of bikes up there when I was coming down, so.
And it's really double duty for the police department because a lot of them march in the parade, too.
Well, they're going to march the parade. Yeah.
Gene Rooney, there's a rumor that Gene Rooney, your husband, will be in uniform. Is that correct?
I can't wait.
She loves a man in uniform, especially when she's married.
I wanted him to wear the kilt, but he wouldn't go for it.
Wouldn't go for that.
Wouldn't go for the kilt.
You are watching live coverage of the St. Patrick's Day Parade here in the city of Peekskill. The parade will actually be here in just a few moments. And Vinny, maybe you want to mention what's coming up at the Paramount Theater tonight in specific.
Yeah, before the parade gets here, we mentioned the great evening of Irish entertainment to be headlined by Andy Cooney, Irish America's native son, Eamon O'Connor. Let's see if I get these right, these names correct, okay? Marie McVicker, Jimmy Kelly, and Buddy Connolly. So there's going to be a number of different people that will be performing for you. That show will start probably around 8 o'clock-ish, I would imagine.
Yeah, by the time everybody gets in there, it's scheduled for 7:30, but usually it takes until about 8 o'clock to get going.
So that's at the Paramount Theater, and the admission prices are $20 and $22. There is not a bad seat in the Paramount Theater, and in terms of acoustics, you just can't get a better theater than the Paramount. So if you like Irish music and Irish entertainment, I strongly suggest you get down to the Paramount here this evening in downtown Peekskill. This evening, by the way, being Thursday, the 14th, we kind of get a head start on St. Patrick's Day here in Peekskill.
4-day weekend.
Yeah, why not?
It is.
I like that.
It's an official 4-day weekend.
Now, how did Vinny do on the pronunciation?
Eamon is the only thing.
Eamon? Okay.
And
My
actually,
apologies. It's
Mary,
Eamon
it's
O'Connor.
Mary
Mary
McVicker.
McVicker.
All right. From now on, you guys read the name.
All right,
Andy
we'll do that.
Cooney, I can handle that.
Well, we
With
figured
an
we'd give
EY.
we figured we'd give that to you to read.
Okay.
This is a major event here in the city of Peekskill on an annual basis. It's a big event for the cable company to bring it to you live. It's an event actually that takes all day to get set up and get going, and the cable company, as Diane Rainey pointed out earlier, Vinny uses volunteers from the area to pull all of this together, and Diane is Director of Government Relations and Public Affairs, and they've always been supportive of not only the parade, but other events in the city of Peekskill.
Yeah, I can tell you from firsthand experience that they do a great job. They are really community-oriented, and you can find that out just by their coverage of the Peekskill High School basketball team. It's time for their plug. Peekskill High School basketball team going to the state Final Four back-to-back years. They're going up to Glens Falls. They'll play this Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. I'm sure there'll be a large contingent of Peekskill people up there. I know WLNA will be up there doing the game live on radio, and we'll be there on cable TV to tape it for you and get it back here to Peekskill as quickly as possible. And if the high school team wins on Saturday morning, they're playing a team from Section 9, which is up near Albany. Then they play in the state championship game at 1 o'clock on Sunday afternoon at the Glens Falls Civic Center. So hats off to Peekskill High School and Coach Lou Panzanero and his staff and the entire team. They've done a great job, and I've been there for every one of the games. Got a little carried away the other night at West Point, but they pulled it out, and we're all proud of them here in the city of Peekskill.
And it's interesting to point out, too, that the basketball team was actually going to be in the parade tonight, but because they're doing so well in the sectionals that they can't be here. They're out actually practicing.
They're practicing, right. This is their practice time up at the Peekskill High School. They practice from like 5 to 7. And I know they have a tough opponent coming up on Saturday morning, so I'm sure Coach Lou Panzanero wants to get in all the practice that he can.
Now, Denise, maybe you could tell us a little bit about what the Irish folk here in the United States do actually on St. Patrick's Day, because we're actually 48 hours away from the official start of the New York City parade.
Well, they normally get up early in the morning, head into the city on the train, always on the train. They head into the city and try and go to the parade. But if you can't see the parade, if the bar door opens and you can see the parade, that's even better. So, but it's an all-day affair, so.
And some people actually stop for Mass in the morning, because usually there's Mass
I
first
forgot
thing in
about
the
that.
morning.
Actually, or they might even get the midnight Mass the day before.
Yeah, well, that's the appropriate thing to do during this period of time. You can see from the street camera level, actually, guys, that there are a number of street vendors that have come out here, and the kids certainly enjoy seeing them. A lot of people with balloons, Vinny, a lot of people with green hats, a lot of green.
Yep, a lot of green, and you can also tell from that shot that the crowd is beginning to infringe on the line of march. That's how heavy it's getting along the line of march. People are moving more and more towards the middle of the street, but I'm sure Peekskill's finalists will square that away before the line of march gets here. Right, Denise?
Oh, right, yeah. Anything you say is right.
All right, okay, I like that.
There are a number of bagpipe bands, actually, that are going to be marching by tonight, and many of them are actually going to stop. For the first time, this is a little bit better organized than we've been in the past, Vinny, and the parade committee has never been told that they were organized before, but I do want to give them credit for this. Many of the performances will actually stop in front of the reviewing stand here and perform for, 30, 40, 50 seconds, and then move on down the rest of the parade route.